Hi there, Jamie Keat here today at Teachers Tech. Hope you're having a great day today. Today I'm taking a look at FilmoraPro. So I'm going to go through a beginner's tutorial on this, showing you the main features. What I really like about FilmoraPro, it is pretty much as they say, it's professional editing software made easy. If you've used Filmora 9, which is a simple product to use, to great looking videos, it's very easy to use. It's a step up on that. So you can download this for free. I'll put the link down below so you can download it for free, but it is watermarked. You have to purchase it to get rid of the watermark. So just so you know, that link is an affiliate link, which means if you do end up purchasing, the company does give me a portion of the sale back to me so I can help support my channel. So let's get started on this beginner's tutorial here today. I want to know what you might want to learn about this product or other products for video editing. So just let me know down in the comments down below. Let's get started here today. So just so you know, I have time-stamped everything down below in the description so you can jump to different parts of the video if there's something specifically you're looking for. I'm working on Windows 10 today. This is also available on Mac OS, so you can work on that computer. And I'll also put a link to Filmora 9 if you haven't used that yet. It's a little bit less expensive than this product and very simple to use. I'll put my tutorial to that one down in the description and in the card. So let's get started here. I've already clicked on the icon and I'm just on the opening screen of FilmoraPro, and I'm just going to go ahead and create new project. Any of the old projects if I created would have been right here, so I'm just going to go ahead and open up and hit get started on this one. So when it pops up, we get all these different windows from you can see from viewer to trimmer to different controls and everything. What I like is how quickly you can customize things on this. You can, if I go to any of these and drag, I can change the size of my viewers. You can see I can just stretch things out differently, and I can also drag things around. So for an example, if I wanted this audio mixer somewhere else, you can see as I click and hold, I can move the tabs into different places to start adjusting the view exactly how I want it. Now, if you wanted to go back, what I can do, if I go back to view here, I can just go ahead and hit reset workspace, and it goes back to normal. So just adjust things the way you want, but if you move too many things, you just want to start from scratch, just try that. So I'm just going to start with importing my media into FilmoraPro here. So I have a file that I have set up on my computer with some audio and some video and some pictures in it. So I'm just going to be taking it from there. So let's say you've moved it from your camera to your computer already, but I'm going to go ahead and just hit import. So I'm going to click it here, and you can see what the different ones are. I'm just, for this beginner's tutorial, I'm just going to be importing my media, and I have some different things here, but I'm actually going to go to a different one that I have. I'm just going to type it in here. So this is FilmoraPro. And there we are right there. So here's, you can see I have a number of different files working here, and I'm just going to go, I could drag one in at a time. So if I go ahead and hit open, you can see I can bring one in at a time, but if I go back, if you want to bring multiple ones in at a time, and I have a mixture of different audio and everything in here, I could grab many different things and bring them all in at once. So then all the media is now in here in my media panel. And if I want to, again, you might want this up top. So if I bring this, I could put this in a different place if I wanted it up here to view it. And then if I wanted to view any of these, what they are, if I go ahead and double click on these here, and then if I go ahead to, hit play over here, I can watch the preview on this one here. So if I want to go to a different one and then just hit play again, you can do all the previews here. So this is going to be a previews to your media. This is going to be the viewer where we're actually working when we bring it into our tracks. So that's just the first step into importing your media into FilmoraPro. So just before I bring in my media into my editor, I just wanted to show you some organization that you can do within the media that you have. So you can make folders with these. So if I go ahead and make a folder, I could call this audio. And maybe I put my audio files. You can see the audio files are recognized with a wavelength on it, and you can still preview them the same way over here. But then you can drag them into the folder, and you can see how that's underneath it. So you can go through and maybe make audio, images, and video and organize things just as you get a lot of different ones in there, or you might have certain types of videos to help with the organization of it too. So the next step I just want to show you is actually bringing your media. So when I say media, I'm talking whether it be pictures or your video or your audio into the editor down here. And to do that, all you have to do is just drag it down. So for instance, if I was going to go and take this one here, I could just bring it into video 1. Now, when we're putting things together, we just drag video into the order that we want it to play. And I'm going to show you some editing after, but if you're new to this, you're just dragging your video down. You can see, so now as I have 2 different videos, I can scrub it here with the play, and if I grab it, you can see as I drag it over top, it shows what's playing in the viewer window up here. So maybe you want your viewer window larger so you can view it, and then the trimmer one goes smaller, and then you can just drag it back and forth, or I can hit play up here. And I can do the same thing. So audio, when I drag audio down, that would go in our audio here. And then if we have pictures, so this is just a picture, you can see this is just a JPEG. Pictures can go also with the video. So I have 2 videos and a picture, and I'm just putting them in the order that I want. And now I have audio, so if I hit play, you'll be able to hear the audio with the pictures, and as it switches back and forth. You can quickly change the order of any of these too, so I can drag them over into different places and to manipulate where I want to have them. I could highlight or select 3 or all of them and then move them around all at once, or I could even grab the audio and move it around too. So this is just some basic movement of once you bring your media in here. The other thing you can do is create more tracks. So you can see we have tracks. We have audio 1 and video 1. So if I right click on here, I could insert a track, and now I have video 2. Any of these ones can be actually put, I could drag this up and it will still play the same. But if I play it, you can see now this is just in another track, and I can make more inside the audio. So if I go insert, now you can see there's audio 2, and I could play multiple audios all at once. So that's just a little intro how to bring your media over. If you wanted to ever undo something, you can always go Control Z on your Windows or Command Z on your Mac, but you have the back arrows here. You can see how I can just go back. The other thing you might want to know is down below, you can zoom up on certain parts of this too. So if I go and down here and I just bring this over to the right, you can see how I zoom up. So this allows you to get to a specific spot a lot better, because when I show you some editing in a bit, you might want to pull your playhead to a specific part and cut there. So that's just a basic intro, bringing your media into your tracks and creating some more tracks and just moving them around within them. So just before I get into some trimming of the clips, what I wanted to show you is if I go ahead and bring this into video 1, I'm just going to say yes, so it matches. And if I bring another one in, and I've already showed you how to insert the tracks, but if I just drag it in, it automatically creates the video tracks too. What I wanted to point out is when this one's on top, this is what you're going to see. So if I hit play, notice it's the top one I'm seeing. Now, when the playhead would get to here, I'm going to see the other one, but if you're not seeing something, it could be that you're overlapping somewhere with it and you're only seeing that one. There are some effects and different reasons that we use our different layers, and I'll show you them a little bit later on, but just so you know, the top one is what you're going to see. The other thing I just wanted to point out was you can hide the layers very quickly. So if you had this in place but didn't want to see it, you can just click the eye here, and now I'm not even seeing that track at all. And the same thing with audio. So if I bring in the audio down into here, and I go ahead and I didn't want to hear it, I can just mute it here. So it makes a good way when you're working on it. If you don't want to see certain ones to work on one track at a time, you can mute and hide, but you can quickly turn things back on and you'll get everything working again. So let's just move to our trimming now. So I want to show you a couple different ways that you can trim your clips. So if I was going to go and drag this one in, before I do that, I can do some editing right in here in the trimmer. I can trim it. So let's say if I was going to go, I'm going to drag this little round circle here till I get to a certain spot right here. So I'm going to say when it gets onto the boat, so this clip right here, I'm going to mark it in. And then I'm going to go right to, you can see where it goes to this shot. So I'm going to go and mark it out here. Now I can just go ahead and click on this one and it inserts it. So now I just have the clip that I selected. So I've trimmed it. In here, you can see inside the viewer here that it's a trim clip. The other thing that you can do to trim, so if I was going to take a different one, we'll take this one with the dog eating. If I just bring it in, you can just grab the end. So you can see how this hovers green. If I drag this over, I'm trimming the clip, and I can do it from both ends. So I could even do it to this clip that I've already trimmed once, but you can see how quickly you can trim it. So now once you trim, you can move them into the order that you want. Now, if I was going to grab a picture though, so if I go grab a picture and bring it in, a picture is constant, it's static, it's not going to move. But what I can do is I can drag, so I'm just going to zoom out a little bit here. So or zoom out this way. I can drag a picture as long as I want. So I can play it for as long as I want. A video, I can only have it play for the length of the video. I can change the duration of it, which I'll show you in a little bit. I can speed it up or slow it down, but I can't make more video out of it. The nice thing with working with images, I can drag it to play for as long as I want on it. So this is a picture on this one. That's what allows me to do it. And then these ones are the video here. So I put the pictures in that same track. So another way you can do some trimming is just by dragging clips over top of each other. If I drag this over, you can see how when it goes over, and if I bring it back, I've actually trimmed it. So you don't want to make that mistake, but remember the Control Z or going backwards will get you back to where you were before too. But you might want to make sure you have the snap tool on. I had it on. So what it does is if I drag over, it's really easy to drag it over now, but with the snap tool on, and it's usually on by default, it will just snap. If I bring it close, it snaps, so you can make sure the gaps are away and you're not cutting anything else. Just some other things I wanted to point out with some of the other tools here. So if we just look, at under here with the different tools of the where you can adjust the in and out points, but even the slide tool, if I now do this, if I drag it over top, so if I drag this over top like so, and allows me to see in the viewer window what part I'm at. Now, if I drag it back though, you notice it's still there. So do take a look at some of the other tools and play with some of the editing that you can do. This one is the slice tool. So what it can do is if you can take something out in the middle. So if I go to this part right here and just cut on it, so I slice, I've made a slice, and I can move it over, make another slice, and now I could take out a part out of the middle. So I could use my selection tool here and drag it out and maybe put it in a different spot. So I could change the order of the clip if I didn't want it. So maybe there's some footage in between. You can slice out that certain part. I can just delete it if I want, and then put the other two together. So if there was a mistake in your video or something and you just want to take a part out, that's how you can kind of quickly do it with the slice tool. But again, you're just putting everything in order, usually from trimming to slicing, and those are just some different ways that you can do it. So let me show you a few other options here. And what I'm going to start with is this one right here. So here's a clip, people at the beach. I'm just going to match my settings here. People at the beach, and it's just the waves. And maybe I don't want the sound attached to it. Instead of just muting it or bringing it down, I can right click on this one and I can go to Unlink. Notice, so I'm just going to go back, Control Z. See this little link? This shows that they are linked together. If I right click, unlink, and now I can move them separately. I could even delete the audio and it wouldn't be there anymore. So you can delete the audio out of a clip. I could replace it with something else, some music. and I could link it back up again too. So if I wanted to link this back up, or if you wanted to link two clips, just make sure they're both selected, right click and link, and you can see the link is there again. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you was I'm going to bring in another clip, and we'll go with the dog on the boat. And I'm just going to show you how we can change the duration very quickly. So in this case, if I wanted to speed this up, it's about a 29-second clip, this one. Right click on it, speed duration. And if I wanted to go faster, I need to go above 100%. If I want to go slower, I go below it. So if I want, I could just type in, I could click and drag, but maybe I want this, I know this, 8 seconds. And you can see nothing got clipped. What happened was it's speeding everything up. So you can quickly adjust the duration to it. And if you wanted to make it slower, you just have to go below the 100% on it, and you'll bring the slow motion into it. The next thing I wanted to show you was some transforming. So I'm going to go back. Actually, I'll use this clip again. Notice when I bring in the clips always come back originally. When I'm editing them, they're not changing the source files on them. I'm going to bring in this one right here. This is just a picture, and I'm putting it on top. And remember what I said, when I bring in something on the top layer, that's going to be what it's seen. And I'm just going to right click on this, show you another one, and that is under transform. I'm going to say fit to frame, and you can see how it adjusted now because it was a little bit big, but now it's adjusted. I can keep adjusting this. When I have this one selected, these handles here, you can see I can kind of change it and move it around, and I can even rotate it, and I can do the same thing with video here too. So I'm going to make this a bit smaller, and I can have these on different tracks, and I can have the video playing and the picture over top. I can even bring in another video, and I could bring it into a new track if I wanted to. You can see now it's over top, but again, if I make this smaller, I can adjust this, move it around, again, use all the same features that I just showed you, and now I can go ahead and hit play, and you have picture in picture. So that's how you kind of create that picture in picture effect, using the different tracks on top of each other, but just changing, transforming that very simply by selected. So those are just some more tips that I want to show you before we get to our next part. Some other things you can do when you're overlapping the tracks, like I've showed you before, is adjust the transparency. So if I go ahead, and there's a fine white line on here, so if I hit play, you only see the top one, but there's this white line right here, and I'm going to bring it down, and you can see how it changes the transparency of that top clip, because that's what I'm adjusting. So you can change that through it. So just another quick effect that you can add to your videos. Another thing is with audio, you can do all the same clipping or the trimming that I've showed you with the video clip. So if I bring this in, notice we can trim our clips in this way. We can use the razor, the slicer tool to cut certain parts out, and then select it and then delete out a part. So you can change your audio like that too. If I right click, I can do the speed duration on it, and you can see all the different effects that you can do with the audio. If I'm playing with the audio, I can make some volume changes to adjust it just by pulling this down. But you also, so if that would make it quieter like this, but you can also go to the audio mixer, and you can see the different levels that are playing, and I can make some adjustments in here. So that's just some quick things with audio. But now let's move over to some transitions in between our videos and pictures. So now I'm going to add some transitions, and I'm going to show you how to add some titles too. To find the transitions, you need to go over to the effects or wherever you have it placed. And then as you go down, you can see we have transition to audio and transitions in video. So if I open up the video one here, we have all these different ones. I'm just going to show you with this cross dissolve, but you can play through all of them. The concept's the same. You drag them in between the two clips. So now if I drag the playhead, you can see it will do a cross dissolve between them. And so I can stretch that out just by grabbing. You can see how the green handle came and I stretched it out, so it makes it a longer transition on this one. You can see how it's slower now as it goes through. So very easy to pick and to adjust on those ones. The other thing, you can do it from videos to pictures. So same thing, if I grab it, this is just a picture over here and I put it between the 2 points, it will go from video to picture. I also have the audio ones here. So if I go to my transition audio, you can see if I wanted to add a fade out, and I can adjust it by pulling it longer, and I'll just play it and it fades out. So those are some quick things to add some transitions to your slides. So I'm going to show you how to add some titles. The first way is just kind of a traditional way, but then they have some neat effects to add some titles too. So just quickly, there's the T right here. If I just click here and then click in here, I'm just going to write dog on a, we'll just keep it simple, boat here. And when I select on this though, if I go back to my selection tool, I can move this around in different places. I can alter it, the angles that I want. The other thing that you can do, if you go over here to text, you can see this is where you can make some changes to this. So if I wanted a different font, if I wanted a different color, you can go through and make these changes. This stroke, I can increase the size of it, and you can just get what you want. Now, you can see how it is on a different layer here, on a different track. I can move this around to a different point. If I wanted, I could create more tracks and put them on top of it and have multiple titles. Now, here's another way, and it's they have some neat ones that you can import into FilmoraPro. And if you look above this one, it says import titles. So now, if I look through, I'll just scroll down here, and they're hard to see, they're pretty little, but we'll just pick this one right here. So title 16, I'm going to hit import, and where it goes to is the media now. So if I go to media, and it's right here at the bottom, and I drag this over top, you can see I'll just hit play here, and this is animated here too. So if you want to go through and edit this, you just need to go to controls over here, and you can see that they have all these different properties on it. But if I wanted to go through, let's say edit text 1, and then I'll just click in here. I'm just going to keep this simple here, and I'll just write dog here. And if I go back and I'll hit play again, you can see how quickly I adjusted those ones. And you can change all of these here just by putting edit 2 for this line, edit 3, and then you have all these different ones that you can just adjust a little bit more for the animation and the effects of the title. So it's a pretty cool way to add some professional looking titles within FilmoraPro. So the effects are kind of like what I did with the transitions. You just drag them on top of the clip. So if you look in the effects, you can look. So if I go grunge and I just go and drag it over top, and I don't know if this one shows up enough. Little bit, I don't know if you can see it, but what I can do is make sure you're under controls, is go up and you can increase maybe this green. I'll go up higher and higher, and you can see now inside the video how it has a little bit of a different look to it. So any of these effects, so I'll just take this off here with a couple of Control Z's on here, and you can look through all the different ones here that you can just kind of quickly drop over, and then you can kind of see the effect of each one. These are just some animations here that kind of work like as transitions too. But very quickly, you just drag them and then look into your controls for more ways that you can adjust them too. So what I'm going to do now is actually talk about the keyframes really quickly. So a keyframe helps you change things over time. And I'm not going to get deep into this. I'm just going to show you one example. So in this clip right here, what I'm going to do is go up to my keyframes here. So I'm under controls, and I'm going to go to transform. So I'm going to actually add a keyframe, and I'm going to work with scale. So if I go here, and I'm just going to increase the scale at this, make it a bit bigger, and I'm going to mark it in as a keyframe. I'm going to go up and click this right here because this shows the mark, the keyframe. This is kind of the clip I'm working on. I'm just going to drag this back to the beginning here. And what I'm going to do is actually now decrease this, make this smaller, so a lot smaller. So now something's going to happen over time. If I go ahead and hit play, you can see that it's smaller, but it's growing to where I set that other one all the way up to that 147%, and then it goes back to normal. So a keyframe can change things over time. You add the keyframes in, but I'm not going to get it into a lot. I just wanted to kind of touch on keyframes and what it did. So let's say we have our project done. We've added our titles, our transitions, we've made our trims and cuts. We need to export it here. So that's what we're going to do next. So I didn't mention this before, but as you're working along, make sure you keep saving your project. Just go up, and the very first time it'll be save as, but you don't want to lose any work. So just go through and hit save or Control S. The other thing is we do have project settings right here that you can set up here. But most of these I just kind of leave at the 1080p, but you might want to change your frames per second or depending on what you're working on. So now we're all ready to export. You have a couple different options. You can export everything in your video. So in this case, I could go to export and hit content. So that would be everything. Or else what I can do, if there's a certain part I only want to export, I can hit the I on my keyboard for in and then move it over and hit the O, and you can see it's kind of shaded on the outsides. So that's what it's going to be, is the exporting is just between those 2 points when I choose in and out area. But so in this case here, I'm going to go to contents, and another option is you have can actually continue working as it sends it to the queue for export, but I'm going to go to export. You can see right up here. So if I was setting this for YouTube, I probably drop down and you can see we got YouTube 1080p. I'd go on this one, but you can see 2160 is there too. And I have the name on this. You can change where you're going to be saving it here. You can pick a different location if you want. It's based on the title that when you saved it the first time. But when everything's good to go, you can right click on this one and you can see a few other options. Start exporting, and then it's going to start. You can see right here it's starting, and we have a little preview over on the side. So it will go through that that progress, and then you're going to have that file saved wherever you selected. And then if you are uploading it to YouTube, you can just upload it, select that file, and upload it to your YouTube channel. So I hope you liked this tutorial here today. I know this is a professional program. I just kind of touched on more from the beginner aspect of this, and it can do a lot more, especially with the color grading under the scope and different effects on this one. But I hope this got you started with it. Let me know in the comments down below if there's other stuff that you'd like to see. Thanks for watching this week on Teacher's Tech. I'll see you next time with another tutorial.